Hey, how's everybody doing? I'm going to go out and do a little scouting, preseason scouting this today for some whitetail hunting. Yeah, so I'll show you what I look at on a map of kind of an aerial photo and what I look for so I have an idea of what and where I'm going to go once I get out there. So with the aerial view, this is the pretty much the area that I just got permission to hunt. Yeah, so right off the bat, things I'm going to look for would be this area down here leading up to the feed, the ponds for water source. It looks like there's a deep drainage ditch right here. So there should be a ridge top in here. I'll check the ridge top for trails. And then you get these little corner pockets like this. Those are good spots to sit up right in the corner, catch the deer coming out. Yeah, so those are some of the areas I'm looking at. Overview. So we'll go out and start. And all right, just made it out to that piece of property I'm going to scout. And as you can tell, got a backpack on. And so I figure while I'm scouting it, why not kill two birds with one stone? And I'm going to do a little conditioning workout for elk hunting here. Leaving 3 weeks, coming up quick, so I've got the pack fully loaded. I'm going to get busy and start overlooking these areas, and we'll take off and see what we find. All right, this is at that very south, kind of west corner of the property I've got. And on the map, I wasn't sure what they had out here. Got all that bean fields leading up out of this thick timber. So good spot to catch them coming up out of this grassy draw. I'm gonna go ahead and use my Onyx and put a mark on this spot for, a good stand choice. Got the beans, cover. So this will be an area I'll mark, and yeah, we'll just go from there. So first spot looking good. Let's go on to the next. All right, got another spot right here. This is just down the hill from where I was at on top looking at the soybeans. Got a nice little open spot here. There's a nice little low spot in the fence behind me there. So I see several small trails cutting through here. And as you can tell, it's a nice little open area. So good for some shots. And then it kind of goes up into this draw here right behind me that leads right up to the top. This looks like it'd be a good travel corridor. Keep them secluded. Maybe a staging area before they head out to the bean fields up through this little draw. So another spot we'll mark on the Onyx, and we'll keep trekking. When you're out scouting a new area, also keep your eye open for past rubs. That'll give you a clue to their travel corridors, especially during, that pre-rut time when you really want to be out there. A good example of one right here. That's a nice old rub right off a trail that runs right up through the center of this little pocket of timber. And on those couple little trees, there's a couple more rubs. So always keep your eye open for last year rubs. They'll give you a clue of where they're traveling through. All right, here's another thing you want to look for. Walk these ridge tops. Look for these trails that run down here on the top. And then there's, every now and then, you'll find trails that go up and over the ridge, covering both sides. And during the rut, them bucks will love to walk the top of this ridge scent checking all those trails that crisscross that trail. We'll mostly have northwest winds in the fall predominantly. So if you can grab a decent sized tree, you know, somewhere along this north side of that trail, you could catch them bucks cruising this trail during the rut. Get you a nice shot at one. So this will be another spot we'll mark on the map and look at as possible future site for a tree stand. We'll keep moving. Okay, found a fresh, large buck dropping, and I'm in an area here that's just kind of down bottom of a ridge, and it's just a big, like, open grass meadow, and it's, I don't know, not really wide, 50, 60 yards wide, you know, a couple 100 feet long, and it's just kind of tall grass down in here, and I'm seeing trails just kind of crisscrossing all around down in through here. And this is just down from below that ridge where I just showed you that other trail. So this looks like another good spot I'm gonna mark on the map. We'll keep moving. All right, this is one of those points I was talking about earlier that I pinpointed on the map. There's the trail coming up out of the bottom of the ridge from down below. Comes up on the ridge, and then there's a little finger that sticks out and runs out here into the Pasture CRP field, and then the rest is open. Not really seeing a lot for using this as a particular site, but there's all this. I mean, this is basically pasture ground out here. I don't see a lot of sign. You know, they do use that trail and that trail, but that's mostly a cattle trail, but the deer will use them. So this is one spot I think I will cross off the list and not worry about putting a stand in this area. On to the next. Another good reason for getting out there and getting boots on the ground for some preseason scouting. On the map, it shows this is all supposed to be a pond. We've been so dry that there might be some water down in there in the center of that, but it's mostly dried up and grown over. So yeah, that's why you want to get boots on the ground and do some preseason scouting. You know, this pond would have been a good area for the early season because they always need water. So I can cross this pond off the list. There's a couple others out here. Already went by one that was full of water and had some tracks around it. So I'll try and look for another water source. But other than that, yeah, another area off the list. All right, just about to the end. And here's one of those ponds that we had also looked at on the map. There is some tracks along the edges, and where the fence runs here, down along this trail, there is fresh tracks in the dusty, sandy soil going up the hill, and right over the top of that hill would be where we first started. So, almost done. But yeah, water supply right here next to those trails that we were seeing over the edge of the hill. This might be a good location to start the season at. So, all right, I'm gonna finish my trek back up the hill to the truck, and then we'll be about done for the day. It's I think it's about 2 o'clock. I've been hiking all these hills since about 9:30 this morning, so I'm ready to call it quits. Meet you back at the truck. All right, made it. Get everything gathered up here back in the truck, get this pack off my back, head home, and then we'll go back everything we saw today. So we'll catch you back at the house. Just got back here to the house, so we'll go back over everything that we saw out there and have a game plan to go with for this fall. I drove up and parked right up in here, and that little corridor coming up right up here to this point is where I thought looked like it would be a good spot that I marked the first one. This is all soybean field here. Looks like back over here there was some corn that was cut, just recently cut and baled. Looked like an old CRP field. So that's all just stubbles now. But yeah, right down in this little path here was that open green area. Trails coming through that. And that's also the pond where we ended up that had the tracks around it and the tracks coming up along that dirt path. So yeah, I'm probably going to have one stand probably right in here somewhere for the first part of the season. Got the water source. They can get a drink there before they come up and feed out into the soybeans. So that's looking like an early season pick. Then we moved on right in this little patch here is where I was seeing those rubs. So they're feeding down up in here, or not necessarily feeding, but they could be bedding down in here, and then they travel up here, and there was rubs there. They're most likely traveling up and then maybe hitting that little point to come out into the field. So yeah, that one wasn't looking too bad. Right up in here is where that big ridge top was. That had looked like a maybe an old mineral lick or something depression in the ground there. That was all right along that ridge top. I'll probably also have a tree stand right up in here somewhere. These two corners right down here is where I said it wasn't looking real promising, so I won't worry about those spots. But I will have a tree stand up in here, and right down in that bottom there, that's that long grass field strip that I saw with the fresh buck droppings in it. So yeah, with a tree stand up here, I could easily rattle from there and catch the attention of anything down in there, bring them up to me. This pond here, that's the one that was completely dried and grown over. So yeah, I didn't see much over there. Plus you're getting into all the cattle up in here. So for right now, I think my two locations are going to be right here on the ridge top, and then down over in this little finger draw that comes up into the soybeans. So yeah, I think those two spots are going to look pretty good. But I hope you got some information out of this, good tips on what to look for when you're out scouting. Best of luck to you all out there this fall. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe, and we'll see you all out there.